we will be looking at the UNISA Theory of Music Grade 1, February 2023 past paper. In question 1.1, we are asked to name each of the given notes. So there are 5 notes that they will give you. Each note name will count 2 marks, which means you will add 10% to your total if you get question 1.1 correct. Now remember, we can only work in the treble or bass clef, and do make sure about your clef before answering the question. So 1.1, the very first one, we have a flat above the ledger line. This is a B flat in the treble clef. So make sure that you're not reading bass clef, but you're reading treble clef. It is a B flat. And I'll go ahead and put the B flat on the line. I've just made a block for myself here, but it is a line on the question paper. Then the next one, it's in bass clef, so I do have to make sure of that. This is an E. Now what you can go ahead and do is write your E, no need for the natural, but if you would like to put your natural sign there, you're more than welcome to, but you will get the 2 marks with or without the natural sign. So you can go ahead and fill in the next 3 as well. Question 1.2, they ask of us to draw a circle around the highest note in the bar. Now remember, naturals are higher than flats and sharps are higher than naturals. Here we go. So if we have an E flat and an E, of course an E will be higher. A G and a G sharp is higher. And then the last one, we have a B flat and an A. Don't be fooled here by the flat. Remember that anything on the note B will be higher than anything on the note A. So B flat is our highest note. In the following few short questions, we'll be getting music extracts, almost like a little music comprehension, of which we have to answer questions about. So in question 2, we're given an example in the bass clef, and the first question they ask is to name the key. So keys are very important, and at grade 1 level, they can only ask you keys up to and including 2 sharps and 2 flats. And also remember that this is both major and minor keys. So over here, there's 0 sharps or flats in the key signature, so it can be one of 2 keys, C major or A minor. Now how will I tell the difference? C major shouldn't have any other weird accidentals in between. A minor, we should be recognizing our raised 7, so a G sharp, and most likely the piece will start on the tonic or dominant and it will end most likely on the tonic. And here I'm seeing the extract ends on an A, as well as I'm seeing a few G sharps pop up there. So this is most definitely A minor. So we will go ahead and write that in. Question 2.2, they ask us to add the correct time signature to the little block at the beginning. And there you can go ahead and write in 4/4, as we have 4 crotchet beats in each bar. Question 2.3, they ask of us to name the letter names of the indicated notes. Please be sure to read in the appropriate clef. So it's just like question 1.1. You have to make sure about your clef. These notes are merely in a musical context. The other ones were merely abstracts. They were notes taken out of context. But they're very much the same thing. Here you're just going to get 1 mark per note name that you get correct. Do be sure of your clef. We are in bass clef here. Question 2.4 asks of us, why are there only 3 beats in the final bar? And this is because a first bar in any given piece will have to be the first full bar of beats according to the given time signature. So in this extract, we are in 4/4. So our very first bar will be the bar that has 4 full crotchet beats in it. And as you can see, our very first block in this extract does not have 4 beats in it. It actually only has 1, which means that is an upbeat bar. And because there's an upbeat bar with 1 crotchet beat at the beginning, that means we have to make up for our 4/4 time signature and the lack of a crotchet beat right at the end, which means the last bar will only have 3 beats in it. In question 3, we are given yet another musical extract, and we have to answer questions according to the extract. So 3.1 asks of us to fill in the missing bar lines. The first bar line is given, and here we are again dealing with upbeats, because just after 1 beat, they draw us a bar line. And they tell us here that we are in 3/4 time, and this is the most important information that they can give us. Because then, after the first bar line that they give us, we merely have to count 3 crochet beads, and after every 3 crochet beads, we will draw a bar line. So you will see that the question here will count 7 marks, meaning you will need to put in 7 bar lines. In question 3.2, they ask us to name the key of the piece. Yet again, we're only allowed to go up to and including 2 sharps, 2 flats. This very extract has 2 sharps, and the key with 2 sharps is D major. This is also very much confirmed by the fact that the piece starts on the dominant of D major, which is an A, and it actually ends on the tonic, which is D. So that confirms that this is D major. In 3.3, we are asked to give the meaning of terms, so please do study your terms in science well. You will see that each term here equals 2 marks, so just by having 2 correct terms, you will be getting 4%. In question 4, we are yet again given a little musical extract, so let's study it and answer the questions that follow. 4.1 asks of us, which key is this piece written in? And yet again, you can see how important it is to know our key signatures, because this question about keys will come up multiple times during the paper. And you can't do anything like scale writing, interval recognition, even triad writing, which we'll get to a little bit later on, without knowing your key signatures. It is the basics of the basics, so please study your key signatures and know them well. So our key here has 2 flats in it, and our key that has 2 flats is B flat major, so we will go ahead and write that down. Then 4.2 says, add the correct time signature to the blocks at the beginning of the piece. So we'll add them in both the treble and the bass clef blocks. So here we go. I'm just going to go write it in my 1 block on the board. We have 3 crochet beads in a bar, and that means we are in 3/4. Make sure to space your 3 and your 4 quite evenly in the stave so that one number doesn't look bigger than the other. 4.3 asks of us to name the indicated interval. The interval is between a B flat and an F. And now all we have to do is count whether it is a 3rd or a 5th. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is definitely a 5th. So we will go ahead and write 5th in the given space. Question 4.4 asks tone degrees, or otherwise known as technical names of the notes that have been circled. Now remember, at this level, we are only answering according to the 1st degree, the 4th degree, and the 5th degree of any given scale or key. And these technical names are tonic, subdominant, and dominant. And remember that they might not ask it you in order, so do keep an eye out for that. So our very first note that is circled is an E flat. And if we got our key correct, B flat major, then we will be able to answer this question. We have to ask ourselves, what is E flat in the key of B flat major? So we have to sort of count up or think up. Let's try that now. So we have B flat, C, D, E flat if we're going up in the scale. And if I land on E flat, that is definitely the 4th of the scale. So that will be the subdominant. So go ahead and write subdominant for that question. The second note that is circled is an F. And if we count up, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, that is the 5th being the dominant of the key. Our last circle note is a B flat. And of course, B flat is the tonic of B flat major, as it is the first note of the scale. And once more, we see the importance of keys, because without knowing our key originally, we wouldn't have even been able to answer this question. Question 4.5 is yet again a musical term or meaning question. So here we see the importance of knowing our terms in science once more. So allegretto means fairly quick or fairly lively, fairly gay. And MF is a shortened form of mezzo forte, but we're not going to go ahead and write down mezzo forte because they're not asking us for the full Italian term, they're asking us for the meaning of the term, and it means moderately loud. Question 4.6 asks of us, how many beats to the longest note in the music example count? So if you go ahead and look at bar 4, we will see that there is a dotted A and C minim. And this will be the longest note value in the piece. Also, it's the longest note value possible in this time signature because we are in 3/4 time. So we'll go ahead and say 3 beats because they are dotted minims. Question 4.7 asks, how must the notes in the left hand of bar 7 be played? So we will go ahead and spy on that bar. We notice the staccato dots there. We notice the staccato articulation signs. So here we will answer the question by saying it needs to be played in a detached way because of the staccato indications. Question 5 all has to do with triads. So in question 5.1, they ask us to write key signatures and primary triads. So important to note, those two steps in the question, key signatures and then the triad. So if you take a look at our first question, they ask of us F major, the dominant. First things first, key signature of F major, that is a B flat. So we put that in, we are halfway done. Then we need to think of what is our dominant in F? And again, we can count up F, G, A, B flat, C. That is a C. So we find our C can either be this C or middle C. And then we just go in thirds up. So if I'm on a space, we have 3 space notes. If I'm on a line, like middle C, I'll have 3 line notes, C, E, G, and this, or either or this, will give us our 2 marks there. Then we're going to go ahead to the next one, D major. Let's be careful, we're in the bass clef now. And if you are confused at any point, do take a look at the example that they give you right at the beginning. In this paper, they give us an example in B flat major, the tonic. So they do show us that we need our key signature and we need our triad, and they do show us how we need to go about this. Thank you, UNISA. So back to the question. D major, we'll have to put in our key signature. So we have our 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp, and then we need to go ahead and outline our triad on the dominant of D, D, E, F sharp, G, A. So it's on an A, we'll find an A. You can either use that A or the high A, and we will go ahead and outline our thirds, A, C sharp, E, or we can do an octave higher, A, C sharp, E. Either one would be correct and give you your 2 marks. Our final one, we are getting a freebie mark because 0 sharps and flats, that's already A minus key signature. So they're giving you some free marks. Now all we need to do is outline the triad on the subdominant of A. A, B, C, D being the 4th. And we can do D, F, A over there. Or we can go ahead and do an octave higher, D, F, A. And we get a free mark if you don't write anything in there. And we get our mark for our triad. Question 5.2 is sort of the opposite of 5.1, where here they do give us our key signature and the triad, and we have to figure it. We have to say what it is. And yet again, they do give us an example, so if you are confused, you can take a look at the example, and then we follow suit. So first things first, we are in the bass clef. We have 0 sharps or flats in the key signature, so that leads us to believe it is either C major or A minor. Now the very sharp over there, G sharp, already says immediately we are in A minor because G sharp is the leading note of A and C major wouldn't have any other accidentals in it. So we are in A minor, and now we need to figure out this note, E. What is that in A minor? So A, B, C, D, I count till I get to E. That is the 5th, so it is the dominant. And we are just going to go ahead and figure that. So a mark for A minor and a mark for the dominant. Then we move on. We have a key signature that has an F sharp in it. This is either G major or E minor. Let's always begin by assuming it's the major, and then let's see if it's correct. If not, it of course then has to be the minor. So we're going to say G, and then we're looking for primary triads. It can only be a tonic, a subdominant, or dominant. It cannot be anything else. If you find that it's anything else, then it's not this key. Then it's either the minor form or you are just wrong. So let's just try it in G major. What is D in G major? G, A, B, C, D. It is the dominant. So we're going to go ahead and figure the dominant. G major, dominant, you'll get your marks. Lastly, we have a key with 2 flats, and we're going to go ahead and write the major form of it. B flat major. And what is E flat and B flat? B flat, C, D, E flat. It is the subdominant, so that is correct. I will go ahead and write subdominant. Question 6.1, scale writing. So this is also very important because if we determine our key and we know our key signatures, we can do scales. So first things first, we have B flat major descending in the treble clef. So of course we have options here. We don't need to start on a very specific B flat. We can start on the high B flat above the stave, or we can start the middle line B flat and go below the stave. So we have to put in our key signature first. B flat major has 2 flats, B flat and E flat. And then I'm going to go ahead and start here. You can start an octave higher. And then we go our 8 notes down. Space them out nice and evenly because you do have a nice long stave line to work with. And then we have to put in our semitones, which in a major key lie between 3, 4, and 7 and 8. Remember, when it's descending, the bottom note is our first degree of our scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we get 7 marks for each of our scales. So do be very specific about how you write it and go about it. Our second scale is A harmonic minor in the bass clef. We are also going to descend here. So we will find our A. Our key signature is 0 sharp, 0 flat, so nothing goes there. We find our A, we go down our 8 notes, making sure that we hit all our correct lines and spaces and that we have actually 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I didn't miss anything. Then I have to go ahead and raise my 7th, which is of course G sharp. And then I'm going to go put in my semitones, which lie between 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7, and 8 in a harmonic minor scale. Remember, the semitones are different in a major scale than they are in a harmonic minor scale. Then our last scale that we're going to write is G major. They want us to write both ascending and descending, so pay attention to that instruction, because if you only do one, they will penalize you. So let's go ahead and put in our key signature for G major in the bass clef. It is an F sharp, and this is where our F sharp lies. Do not go ahead and write your key signature where you think it should be, because you're a treble clef player. Remember, we must focus on our clefs, and bass clef, the F sharp lies here. So with G major, we're going to start now G. We're going to go up. We can space them a little bit more tightly because we need to go up and down. So make sure we hit our 8 notes going up to G and 8 notes going down to G again. In total, we will have 15 notes here for an ascending and descending scale in one. We have our key signature, we have our scale, all that's missing is our semitones, and we're going to go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And from the bottom up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there you go, scale writing done. 6.2 asks again of us to give the meaning of the following terms, so we can go ahead and fill that in. Our last question, 6.3, has everything to do with Solfa and Solfa notation. So what they will always do is they will always give you the Solfa notation and expect you to write it in normal staff notation. So what we need to do is we need to understand our Solfa syllables, and we need to understand our keys yet again, because they will always say to you what your key is. They will say do is C, or do is G, or do is F, and yet again they can only ask you the keys that you know for grade 1 level, which is up to and including 2 sharps and 2 flats. So here they ask us according to the key of F major, because they tell us do is F, which means we have to understand and know how our Solfa syllables work in the key of F major. If we just go ahead and write down our note names in the key of F major, it will be F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F. And according to our Solfa syllables, we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And in not a monotone voice like I'm doing it right now, but we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And those will be our Solfa syllables. So if they tell us that we're in F major and they're giving us a so syllable, that means we will be on a C, for instance. And if we get a do syllable, that means we will be on an F. And our upper do needs to have a superscript 1, so that we know it's the upper tonic. Okay, so first things first, we need to put in our key signature as always. So they give us do is F, so we need to put in our B flat. Next, we need to put in our time signature. So it's key, time, key, time. Key signature, time signature. So our time signature here, we only have 1 semicolon separating our beats. They do give us a bar line to show us where the bar ends. And here we only have 2 crotchet beats in a bar. A colon separates crotchets, and we have a space for 1 crotchet, colon, and a space for another crotchet. So that means 2 crotchet beats in a bar. We're in 2/4. Then they go ahead and say that our first crotchet beat will be so. And so in F major is a C, so I'll go ahead and write my C with my stem pointing down. Stem directions are important here because we're writing music. We're almost like composers now, or transcribers. So the next one they give us is Re. Re in F major is G. And then they go ahead and give us a do. So of course do in F major is F, but what note value will this be? They have a do in the crotchet space, and then they have a line, or a little hyphen in the next crotchet space, which indicates that the note goes on. It continues for the full bar, and a full bar of 2/4 will be a minim note. So we have a minim F. Don't get confused and say that the little line is a rest. It is not. If they wanted a rest, they would leave it empty. Rest is empty, a line means we continue. And that is your Solfa notation. And remember to always play from original sheet music and to make your mark on original music sources.